welcome back to Canvas Commentary, the podcast where we explore creativity, storytelling, and the life experiences that shape artists and their work. Today I'm excited to be joined by Taira Rice, a multidisciplinary artist from New York. Working across watercolor, ink, acrylic, and digital media, Taira creates vibrant and imaginative worlds that explore identity, femininity, nostalgia, and joy. Drawing inspiration from her Dominican and African American heritage, her art blends everyday moments with elements of fantasy, creating a work that is both deeply personal and universally relatable. Here's the episode with Taira Rice. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Canvas Commentary. I'm so excited you're here.
Hi, thank you for having me, Derek. I'm excited to be here as well.
Okay, let me just adjust a couple things. So how are you doing today, and how is art doing for you?
So today I've been doing all right, just kind of like a boring work day,
Okay.
but art is doing well for me, I would say, because it definitely saves me from my boring work days when I can draw on my iPad. But in general, art has been very emotional for
Uh,
me recently, which is to be expected because most artists are very emotional, but it's kind of been like a little bit of a roller coaster, but I'm still hanging on.
okay, awesome. Awesome. So explain to the audience what is your style, what you do, what you work with, all that stuff.
Okay, so my style is kind of a mixture. It's illustration at its base. I love drawing with pencils and pens and coloring with watercolor and colored pencils, and a lot of that is inspired by comic books, which I grew up reading, like from my dad, and so that's like my base. But I would say like my style is kind of like a mixture of sensual, beautiful, like female empowerment. Kind of, that's a lot actually, but it's a lot of those mixed with color and imagination and just like wanting to depict black women in a sexy but also fun, autonomous kind of way instead of just like, like I feel like sometimes when we're depicted in certain things, it's like overly sexual or in a way where it's like for an audience.
Yeah.
But I want mine to be more like it's for itself. Yeah, and I mostly, like I said, use watercolor, but I use like watercolor pencils, which helps me because it just makes it. I'm kind of a control freak, so it makes it easier to control for me. And I mostly work on paper, but I'm trying to expand to. I've painted on canvases before, but I want to expand to bigger, larger pieces soon. So hopefully that'll
Oh,
mean bigger canvases and paper.
I love bigger. My dream is to do like the really like 8 foot by 8 foot. I would love that so much, but I just unless somebody pays me to do it, I can't do it. So
Because that's going to be $1 million, the canvas
yes,
alone.
just in the canvas alone. So when did you realize art was more than just a hobby for you?
For me, I definitely always saw myself being an artist. I just didn't know in what capacity. My family, like my parents, are both architects, so I grew up with artists kind of that were working, but it wasn't the kind of art I was doing, so I was kind of lost for a while. Like, what am I going to do with this gift? But once I got into high school and just really sat down and was like, people are doing this for a living. People make comic books, people make album cover art, people make book cover art. Like, I just expanded my mind a little bit more and realized, like, you know what? Like, I really can do this. And if I hone in on my style and make it my own, like, there's no reason why I can't, do something with this. And it's been the main thing in my life that's always stayed constant, which is, I've always drawn ever since I was in kindergarten. So I just figured, like, I should take this serious. I should put my all into it and see if it can be a thing, because I don't feel like you get a gift like drawing or singing or any of that for no reason. So once I got into high school, like once the end of high school really, when I was going to college and trying to figure out like what my majors would be, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this a business. And like I had gotten an LLC, like I got real serious real fast. Like by the time I was 18, I had gotten my LLC for my brand called Just Us Girls, but it's Jug for short. And I was like making T-shirts and making stickers and really grinding, just trying to make it a thing.
Oh, wow. I, how is having an LLC when you're 18? That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have very like cool parents that really believed in me and never really judged me for like what I drew or what I wanted to do. So they were a big reason why that happened. They were like, "Oh, well, you already have a name, you have a style, like you need to." They were the ones that were pushing me to do that, and it wasn't crazy, but I think now looking back, it's like, yeah, I guess that isn't something most 18-year-olds are doing. But at the time, it made sense and it felt like a grown up thing to do, and I was like, yeah, like I'm 18, I'm a grown up, like I need to have a business, so um, it was cool because it just was something that was all my own that I created that I legally put a stamp on. So it's like it was real,
Mm,
not just a fun hobby anymore.
wow. Um, so we kind of talked about your art. What k- themes would people not know are in your art that you constantly are is in your art?
Wow, yeah. I feel like a lot of people will look at my art and just be like, oh, it's sexy girls, that's it, which is valid
Mm,
because at first glance, that really is what it looks like and what it is. Um, I guess for me on a deeper level, like I try to just depict kind of like fleeting moments or like fleeting emotions, ones
uh-huh.
that I start to feel that I even don't know how to always explain with words. And I try to capture like a look in the eye or, the placement of a hand somewhere or um, just really small details like that will show you like kind of or that'll infer that like the person I drew is thinking about something or they might be doing something but they're also like their mind is in another place. Like I feel like I experience things like that a lot, and I try to depict those really small moments when like only you feel the shift of what's happening but like maybe others don't. It's hard to explain, and like the nudity aspect of it is kind of meant to just like be a metaphor for vulnerability in a way. Like I
Yeah.
feel like when I'm being vulnerable, that's how I feel, kind of naked, and that makes most people uncomfortable. And but also the human body is beautiful, and so is being vulnerable. And so I guess I just like kind of mix all those themes together. And what's more beautiful also than the female body? So I guess it just all amalgamated into the images I see, and then I just create them. Like, honestly, it's sometimes really hard to explain, and I feel weird because so many people are like, yeah, when you have art, like, you need to know, like, there has to be some crazy abstract, like, concept behind it, but, like, honestly, mine is just emotion. Like, I've named a lot of paintings just after, like, a specific emotion. Like, I have one called Yearning, and
Right.
I'm trying to depict exactly what that, like the character in the painting is looking very longingly towards the audience, and she's, you know, naked up top, so she's kind of bearing herself to you and showing like a lot of desire but also sadness. um yeah, so it's really rooted in like emotions for sure.
I get what you're saying because it is to be vulnerable and to do something that's not done before it does make you feel naked, and being empowered in that some people are very powerful and that's comfortable for them, but some people it makes sense. I get what you're trying to do, and that's why I have podcasts like this, because I love to hear about it.
Yes, and I'm glad to explain it because again, so many people I feel like will just know me as like, oh, you're just good at drawing girls, and obviously I love that too. But anytime I meet someone and I'm able to really explain things to them, I feel like I open their mind up to more of what I'm doing, and they feel it even more. And that's really what I'm after, is like just to be understood and felt, to for someone to look at it and be like, yeah, like this is kind of like how I felt before about this situation or that one, or you know, like
Yeah.
I'm all for human connection. Like sex and being sexy is fun and empowering, but that's like the core of it.
Wow. So, from start to finish, what does your creative process look like?
Wow. So there's a couple different ways I like start paintings, but a big inspiration for me is honestly music and movies. Like I'm a huge movie buff. I love music, and I grew up interpreting my feelings through those things a lot of the time. I'm a really visual person, so you know, a lot of times I would find a lot of meaning in different things I would watch and see, and the aesthetics of it and everything of it just would stick with me. So first, like there was a movie I saw once. It's called Beyond the Valley of the Dolls,
Oh,
and it's a really old
yes.
movie. Yeah, love. I forget the director's name. I think it was Russ Meyer.
Yeah.
Yes, that's his name. Um, Such a beautiful movie. The women in it were obviously gorgeous, and just a simple the aesthetics of it, how hazy it is, and how soft everything was, but also the themes were so hard. Like things like that inspire me. And then once I get that idea, like sometimes I'll even watch a movie and on my phone and like take screenshots of poses and things that I find interesting, and I'll study them and I'll look at, you know, the colors and everything, and that'll kind of inspire me to maybe like take the pose or take some aspects of it and turn it into a drawing. And so I'll just start sketching. Funny enough, like I can't just like sketch right away like on a paper. Like I feel like I go through like five pieces of paper before like the sketch is turning to exactly what I want, and then it's like, okay, now we're cooking. And then I used to just like draw and then leave it in my sketchbook and then feel like, oh, I'm done. Like the drawing looks great. I'm done. But I've learned to stop doing that because a college professor once told me like sketchbooks are amazing, but they are kind of where sketch like drawings go to die in a sense. Like because you can just close the book, put it up on a shelf, and then what? You know,
Yeah.
like there's the drawing isn't really going anywhere. It's you're not doing much with it. It's only for you at that point, which is fine. But now I've learned like no, I need to like. Sorry, I'm taking long,
No.
but basically, I'll put it into my iPad. I'll put it into my iPad. Like if I do a sketch, I'll put it there, which I love now. I used to hate doing anything on computers, but now I've learned that they are our friends. And I'll, I'll blow it up and put it on a projector, and then try to do. This is me trying to do now like bigger paintings, and the scale kind of messes me up every now and then. So I'll need a projector and I'll put it there, and then I'll trace it, get more into the details and then paint from then on. And it'll take me usually like maybe even like 2 or 3 days to really finish a painting. Because I like to take my time and build up a lot of layers for the skin, especially
Oh, yeah.
to give it more depth. I don't want it to just be brown. Like
Hmm.
I want there to be undertones and that stuff. So I'm really into building up the layers, especially for the skin, and working on the background later on. And even backgrounds are something that I'm not new to, but I'm definitely trying to get better at because I was mostly just doing like interiors, like bedrooms, because that was easier for me. And it's so funny because my parents are architects, but I'm horrible at drawing buildings and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get better with that. But yeah, it all starts from just seeing something on TV usually or on my phone. Even I'm watching a video of something random and I'll catch someone like doing a weird something and I'll really like it and I'll take screenshots of it. My photo album is filled with not pictures of me, like just pictures of millions of other people I've never known and will never know. But just because I always want to see like a reference on hand for just anything that pops into my brain, you
Hmm.
know?
By the way, you talked about Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Have you watched the original Valley of the Dolls? Okay.
No, I haven't. I've heard of it, and I feel like I watched like the beginning, but I don't know why I didn't watch the rest of it. Um, but the Beyond the Valley of Dolls, like that got me. I think maybe just it was from a different time period, and it's like
Yeah.
more colorful and stuff like that, so it probably caught my eye a little bit more. But I will watch the original for sure.
Sparkle, Neely, sparkle. It's amazing. Um, yeah. Oh my goodness. I can quote some Valley of the Dolls. I need to watch the second. You also need to watch where angels go, trouble follows. That's funny.
Hmm,
It has
I
Rosalind
like
Russell.
that title.
Yes. It's has Rosalind Russell in it, and it has who is it? Y- what's her the girl, the blonde girl from Disney, that Haley Mills. It was her first teenage acting role as and they're in a school, like a British school, all girls school, and they go into, yeah, it's amazing.
It sounds good. And
Yeah.
like any old movie that's about like girls basically, like girlhood or womanhood or anything close to that, I'm
Yeah.
always down for. So I'm definitely gonna look this up later.
One also movie, I know we're switching from artist to movie representation. The one interesting movie is so Maggie Smith, one of her first roles was the what is it called? The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. That one is amazing.
The prime of Miss.
Yes. So
Got
that one
it.
is
Oh, and
she's
another.
yes.
No, no, no. Continue.
Oh, so that one is she's in charge of, she's a teacher in a school, girl school, and it's about womanhood, but how womanhood can affect other womanhoods and stuff like that, because you'll see it is like a couple girls they grow up and try to be womanhood, and it's that, generational gap and stuff. It's really good.
I
And
love that because I also
Maggie
grew up
Smith,
in
you
a
can't
family
miss it.
full of
It's
women.
before she looked old too. You won't recognize it. Maggie
Okay,
Smith is
perfect.
amazing in it.
Okay, awesome. Another one that you should watch too
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
by
Like,
it's actually Quentin Tarantino.
say that again.
It's okay. But what I was
Okay.
gonna just say was another good one is a Quentin Tarantino called Death Proof.
Uh-huh.
So good. The beginning is really sad. I don't want to give it away. Beginning is sad, but the ending is awesome.
Okay. So we'll go back to the next question. What is some fears you had to overcome as an artist?
Wow, a lot.
I bet.
And it's funny because a lot of artists will say like, "Oh, my fear of being seen and judged," but it's like for me, it was never that. Like, I guess I'm like kind of a control freak and I love having stability like anyone does in their life. And I think I first was afraid that like I wasn't gonna be able to sustain a life just like off of art. So that was my first fear was just be like, what if I'm a starving artist? Like how am I gonna be, how am I gonna take care of my family or anybody if I can't sell my art? So that was really stressful. And then actually in 2024, I was tattooing
Oh.
after college. Once I got out of college, I started tattooing. It was the pandemic, and I really wanted a job that had something to do with art. And I stumbled across a tattoo shop and gave them my portfolio, and they liked it. So like the guy decided to take me on as an apprentice, and but then after a while of being there, I didn't really like the shop anymore, so I left and created my own shop with my friend, and that was a big eye opener. I feel like that gave me a new set of fears in a way because it was exciting and it was interesting, but it was a lot of drawing for other people, not really making what I wanted to make, and then worrying about bills and all
Mm.
this stuff, and it just created fear around like being able to garner
Hmm.
attention, kind of like, because I had to be my own PR person. I had to find clients and build a clientele. And when you feel like you're not building that, it feels like you're not good at what you're doing. And it feels like people don't want what you're doing. And that hurts to think about. And then the shop eventually closed because the rent was going up and we had to just go, and that was a huge blow, I feel like, to my like artistic confidence in a way, because
Okay.
yeah,
So
sure.
what fear have you overcome as an artist?
So I've overcome the fear of not feeling like my
Hmm.
art is good enough, and the fear of not finding my community that likes my art. What I do is very niche and very specific, and it's also sexual in a way, and you know how
Yeah.
that scares people sometimes. So, and it's about Black women specifically. I don't really draw like any other race of people, and it's not like, honestly, it's not like conscious. It's just I'm Black, and it's these are the people I see. These are the people I interact with every day. These are the people I want to represent. So I know, like, to an extent, I'm not gonna get everyone's attention, and not everyone's gonna want my art. Especially when I was tattooing, like, not everyone's gonna want that on them. But I just learned it's really all about patience, which is another thing that was hard to accept, was that like you just kind of have to wait and see how things turn out. Like, I'm kind of a control freak, so the idea of just waiting and seeing was like, what are you talking about? Like, and honestly, social media really changed a lot for me. I feel like before, when it was newer and I was on it not as much, like I was drawing very freely, and I guess I wasn't like caught up in other artists' careers, and I really did start to compare myself at some points, and that was unhealthy,
Mm,
and that was not getting me anywhere. Just all those things together, and like what I was saying before about the tattoo shop was like having a business and doing tattoos for 5 years and feeling like I wasn't gaining like the clientele I wanted or the demand I wanted for my kind of art. Like I became a little insecure, and I was like, is what I'm making good? Do people want this? And do I need to draw it different? Do I need to? And people always have their 2 cents. Oh, you should put clothes on them. Oh, you should draw them in this way and that way. And it's like, to an extent, yes, I can change and I can switch things up. But at a certain point, like, where's the line between like switching up and seeing what's fresh and what you can do, and when is it you
yeah.
changing for other people? Like I hated people coming up to me giving me their, 2 cents on what I should do, because it's like, now I'm definitely don't want to do it. Like, you're telling me what to do and I don't want to do that. But that's also not always a good way to look at it. So I think just really the overarching fear was patience, like just not knowing when your art or how your art will be supported, or if it will, if you'll find a community that likes it, if you can sustain your life off of your art, all of those together. And I still do experience some of those fears, but my patience has grown, and I've become more comfortable in the fact that I'm just happy that I have my 2 hands and I can draw whenever I want, and that's enough for
So
me.
you kind of touch base, and this is fine. You touch base on the next question. I assume you do things more for you than you do for an audience, which is great.
Yeah. Yes, I've always just drawn whatever I wanted my own little world to be like is what I draw, really. And that's what my brand Just Us Girls is all about. It's like me creating a planet, a world where like these are the kind of women I want to see every day. This is the way I wish women could dress and walk outside and not have to worry about being harassed or whatever, or having labels put on them. And you can be gay, you can be straight, be whatever, no one cares. Like, you could walk outside in a freaking bikini and have a great day, nothing happens to you. Like, just a female utopia, basically. And that this is my version of what that looks like. And although that is another fear, is that like, oh, should I be making things more digestible for other people so that I could be more popular? But it's like, ugh, like on one hand, that's a little tempting, but it's also like that. I feel like I did that in a sense when I was
Mm,
tattooing and trying so desperately hard to get clients and be known for doing this, and I wasn't doing anything I wanted to do, and it really was sucking the soul out of a lot of stuff. And like, I haven't really, since my shop closed, I haven't tattooed in like a year or so, mostly because I felt like burnt out, and I just like needed space to like find my art again and find my reasons for wanting to do it for myself again. And then maybe later on I'll get back into it with like a fresher
okay.
mindset. But yeah, I definitely draw for me, for little me, especially for the little 10-year-old
Eh,
Tyra in there.
what is your biggest professional lesson you've learned so far?
That when projects or jobs don't work out or businesses don't work out, it's not a
Okay.
failure. First, for a while after my shop closed, I did feel a sense of failure, and I was really hard on myself. And I tend to do that. I'm learning to stop because it's not productive. But I was really hard on myself, and I was like, wow, like how did you fumble that? You failed, like you couldn't even keep it open for X amount of time. And after speaking with family, I came to the realization that what I did was very risky and it was very
Hmm.
bold to do, especially at 24 years old. And I'm proud of that now, and I'm proud to have given it my all, and I tried my very best, and that's all you can ever really do. And now I feel like I have the information to do it again in a better way, and now I know exactly what kind of business I want to do. Like that whole tattoo shop was even created like out of randomness. Like the place we found was kind of random, and it was like we had the opportunity and we had to take it. We felt like if we did it, it would be a missed opportunity. So I used to regret having done all of that because I was like, oh, you wasted money, you wasted your time, you know, whatever. And now I'm
Yep.
like, no, like I learned valuable experience and I had fun with my friend and I was running my own stuff. I was my own boss, and no one can take that away from me. So, just never feel like you failed just because something didn't turn out exactly how you wanted. Because I feel like there's also cosmic reasons for things like that, and hopefully that means that something else will come down later in life that works
Yeah.
out perfectly.
Um, so what is in your art, what is one thing you are obsessed with right now? A new thing that you have like loved to, yeah.
Hmm, that's a good one. Honestly, I'm obsessed with like how I can interpret like different styles while still maintaining
Ooh,
my
that's
style.
a good one.
And also yeah, and also like figuring out how else to use my art besides just like on paper. So like recently I had reached out to this artist I love, this rapper. Her name is Veda. She's from Atlanta and she's up and coming and like I really love her arts of her music. So I reached out and I wanted to like do cover art for her and it ended up working out that we did it and that made me feel great cuz that was the first time I ever made art for
Wow.
an album cover. It's not just like a physical, and of course I have the painting, but it's being used for different things. And right now I'm actually working on a project for this girl who has her own small clothing business, and because I used to do tattoos, she asked me to like make like some mesh sleeves that people wear like to pretend like
Oh,
they have tattoos as a fashion thing, and so but she wanted it to be in like a punky kind of like dark
yeah.
gothic kind of style. And so that was interesting because I don't really draw like gothy women or especially dark things, but it made me expand a little bit more and be like, well, how can I like use that? And it wasn't just creating female characters. Like I there's a tattoo style called
Okay.
sigilism, and it's kind of I'll show you images, but it's very hard to describe. But it's like really squiggly, like sharp lines, and kind of like a
Oh,
tribal
okay.
tattoo if you've seen one. Like, but it's way more
Okay.
complex than that, and not something I'm familiar with doing at all. But I love the style, so I then had to like research. I was looking at images. I also, for my process, use collaging
Oh,
sometimes, but on my iPad just to like because I'll have several different images that I'm like
mhm.
working from or thinking of, and then I'll just be like, but I
Yeah.
want them together. I want to see how they'll like fit together, obviously. So I'll use my iPad to collage them together, and I did that with this project to help me do those designs that I'm not normally doing, and it felt really good because what I made is so weird and different from what I usually make, and the happiest part for me is that she likes it. So I was really proud of myself. I'm like, wow, like I don't even do this, but like
Ah,
I kind of did that. It was kind of
that's awesome.
cute.
Um, So, how do you
Yes.
handle criticism as an artist? We talked about handling, becoming your own, cheerleader, but how do you keep that going with criticism?
I feel like really good at taking criticism, partially because I kind of won't listen anyway and do whatever I want anyway. So like even if you say something that you're like, oh, I don't really like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine, because like I kind of don't care if someone doesn't like it. But obviously, if it's a project or something where like I need to take in that to reevaluate like what I'm doing, I'm very open to it, because at the end of the day, like I don't like the idea, like, although I'm making it for myself for the most part and I'm creating my own little world and my own little bubble, um, I still do like to hear different ideas and perspectives, because I feel like when I'm making stuff sometimes, like, I'm just acting off of emotion and impulse, and I try to figure out what it might mean a
Mhm.
little bit later. And sometimes people will look at my art and they'll say, "Oh, like you use this, or why wouldn't you should have used maybe this color because this color represents this emotion." Blah blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, like that's a good little tip. Like I'm always down to hear different ideas, because I can use them later and elevate something that otherwise could have been, more similar to what I've already been making. I want to always elevate. I want to always do something unexpected that's still within my world. And even if the like I had a college professor that was like questioning me really hard about one of my paintings, and like why is she half naked, and why is this and why is that, and I didn't have all the answers, and it did make me feel a little like, oh, like damn, like I can't even answer some of these questions. And I didn't like him at first for having kind of like given me this barrage of questions that were kind of negative. But now that I'm older, I feel like I'm happy that I had those questions, because I had to think about them later on and be like, no, what actually does this mean? Like, I need to be able to speak about what I'm drawing, and I need to be able to have a discussion with someone even about what I'm doing and whatever. So I'm always open to it. I love conversations, so
Oh,
I'm always
wow.
down to hear.
So, what is a piece an art piece that has changed you as an artist?
Wow, changed me.
Usually it's external, but if you
Hmm,
think of something that like changed you that you made, that's okay too.
okay. Um, that's a hard
So,
one. Wow. I mean, I guess one that did change me a little bit was recently, actually last summer, I was doing a residency at the
uh,
School of Visual Arts, and yeah, it was amazing. I loved it. And one of the projects was to make your own mini comic book. And although that's what has inspired me throughout my whole art life, somehow I never really got around to making my own comic book. And I think it was just really daunting, the whole idea of like writing it and characters and backgrounds and a storyline, and it became kind of overwhelming for me. And so I just kind of was holding it off. And so now I had to do it, and I had to figure it out and put it together. And this is like a month-long course, so I only had 4 weeks, and mind you, we had other projects that were on
wow.
top of that. So I only had 4 weeks to make a comic book, and it wasn't a huge long one. It was like 6 pages, like nothing crazy, but still. And that pushed me a lot, because I had to sit down, not only draw, but I had to write. I had to think about how the story makes sense. Where are these people from? What are they doing here? How did they get there? All that stuff. And by the end of the course, I feel like what I made was really good. And I was honestly shocked, because not because it was good, but just how fast I was able to like kind of pull all of that like out of my ass and just be like, okay, boom, like this is a story. And mind you, these are stories that I've had in my head for a while, but like the procrastination was like killing it. But this course made me pull it out and really delve into it in a way that I hadn't before, and it really inspired me to do more like storytelling in general, like not just a static image, but to have a full on book and a story and movement and character development and all that. And like that really had me just expand my mind to feel like, you don't just have to make these awesome like paintings. You can make books. You can make it just made me want to believe in myself more because I felt like I was kind of like what's the term? Damn, what do you call that? I was selling myself a
Um,
little short, basically before, but now I feel like I have more confidence in where my art can go and how far I can take it. But it was a lot of work, and obviously to make a whole graphic novel, even that's gonna take. And I kind of underestimated how long it takes to
yeah.
make those things. So I was like, damn, yeah, it took me a month to make this little 6-page booklet. It's gonna take me a while to make a graphic novel, but that gives me reassurance in a way because that means like I can take my time, build up the stories, and execute it like
And what I
properly.
hear also from you, I so it that a book changed my life in that way. I got a book, I don't know if you have seen it. It's called What Great Paintings Say. And yeah, go to
Mm-mm.
Barnes and Noble, go look at it. It is a book. It's about this big, and it explains every little detail in paintings and uh how it the meaning behind it and why they painted it the way they did. And I was sitting there like, oh, so I need a I guess in the movie sense, since we were talking about movies, I need a director's cut of everything that I do because it's a little harder to do that and sit here and like you did with the comic book, like, oh, I
Yep,
need, why are they there? What's there? What's the theme? That's, yeah, yeah,
it's a lot. I don't know how they do it, but then you also realize like these comic books and stories are made with a
yeah.
team of people, and like then it makes you feel like don't be too hard on yourself because you're one person doing the job of like 10 people. So it's going to
Hmm.
take time. But I'm glad you brought up that book because a book that actually did like give me a lot of epiphanies is called The Way of
Okay.
Seeing, The Ways of Seeing by something. His last name is Berger. And it's an amazing book because it just kind of goes about
Seen that book.
explaining um, just like the different concepts that have been within art, like through different time periods and what they meant for that time period, and why people were drawing those
Oh,
things at that time, kind of, and like explaining stuff like that, like, and not just painting, but like
yeah.
photography too. And one thing that it said that really stuck with me, where it was talking about the difference between nudity and
Uh-huh.
being naked, and how nudity is more of like a performative kind of nakedness where like you are aware of yourself and you know that there's someone watching
Uh,
you almost, so you're kind of like being cute and like like not, it's not natural, it's like you're naked but you're not, you're performing
yeah.
nakedness almost, but like when you're actually naked, like you just let yourself go. You have your tummy hanging out, like you're not posing, you're not trying to be cute, you're not trying to look good for an invisible person. You're just being who you are.
Um,
You're just as you are. I'm sure I'm not explaining it perfectly right, but that helped me realize because for so long I was drawing women and not always clothed, and everyone was just like, oh, like, why are you doing that? Especially when I was younger, like I was drawing what I draw now, like since I was maybe like
Oh,
12. So I had a lot of adults, questioning me and being like, what's up with you? Why are you drawing this? Like, I would have kids in school like make fun of me, being like, oh, you're a lesbian. And I'm like, okay, like, what does that mean? I mean, I know what being lesbian is, but it's like, you're using that as like, uh, to bully me. Like, it was so weird. Like, and even it made me think, like, why do I draw women? And like, I am attracted to women, so I guess that might be a part of it. But mostly, like, it was just that idea of like nakedness, of just like I said before, vulnerability, of letting go, just letting it hang out, just doing whatever, like lounging, like how anyone does. Everyone is naked at some point during the day, whether it's by yourself or with someone else. Like, it's happening. So it's like we can't pretend like it doesn't, and it doesn't always have to be sexy. And sometimes it's sexy because the person has sex appeal, or there's so many nuances to it, and like that's kind of sometimes what I want to capture as well. But I really loved that part of the book because it spoke a lot to my art, and it made me even realize what I was doing and why I was doing it,
a
kind
book
of.
uh, to recommend. Have you read Art and Fear?
Art
Put
and
that on
fear,
the
no.
list. It is fantastic. I think it
God.
was written in the 80s or 90s, and it is basically this guy tearing down all the misconceptions we have with art and what we're doing with it. Like, he's like, you're not going, and not to sound mean, he says, you're not going to be the next Picasso. You're not going to revolutionize art, but you need to do it. So don't sit here
Right.
and like work so hard trying to find something that you have to, it blows, and it's really short. It's like, it's a pamphlet. It is amazing. Read that one. Okay.
I will.
So Art Crush. We're gonna go to Art Crush now. Who or what has influenced your artistic journey the most?
Oh, that's so hard. Okay, so there are a few, and not all of them are even like illustrators. Like a lot, I am inspired by rappers,
Hmm.
movies, all of that. But one recently, and I found out about her. Is this someone like that I've known about for a long time,
Anyone?
or it can be like a recent person?
Does anyone
Okay, there's
that
this.
can do no wrong in your mind? Uh, Anyone that has influenced your art? Most people say their art teacher, but I'd like different answers, so bring it.
Right. Well, I would like to say my parents because they are artists outside of their architecture, and my mom is the one that I mostly my mom is one that I saw painting and drawing with charcoal and pastels a lot. We would go to anatomy drawing classes together, and she would sneak me in, and like we would draw like the models and everything. And then they found out I was like 14, and they
Oh, no.
kicked me out. But it was fine. It was so nice for her to see what I was doing and not judge me, and to just be like, well, if you're gonna be drawing naked people, you
Yeah,
better draw them right.
yeah.
Like that was her mindset. Like, I'm not gonna have you drawing people looking crazy and look like not being able to draw. So you're gonna come into this class with me. We're gonna put you in something. And this was like the first art class I ever went to, and I didn't go to very many like throughout my childhood because like I didn't like art class. Like I felt like they were always trying to make me do something I didn't want to do. So like I think I might have like issues with authority because anytime someone's trying to tell me to do something, I'm like, mm. But she really just always encouraged me to keep getting better at what I was doing. And she really never questioned it. She never was like, why are you drawing this? Or like, it's weird that you're drawing this. Because she also felt like drawing nudity and nude people was a part of the art process. And so and of course, she's my mom. So she was the one helping me get supplies and everything. So, of course, my dad too. But she was the main one that was kind of spearheading that stuff. And I really owe a lot to her because I mean, if she would have acted like how some other people were acting towards me about my art, I probably I might have still been making it, but without your family's support or with anything like that, that always makes things 10 times harder. So I'm grateful that she put all that energy into making me a better artist. But aside from her, an artist that like I follow that I really love. Her name is Olivia de Berardines. I'm sorry if I'm
You're
butchering
fine.
that. She actually was the illustrator that would make the Playboy
Oh,
invitations during the 70s. She made like their invitations. She made a lot of illustrations for their magazine and for all of their publication kind
oh,
of things.
wow.
And the way she draws, she uses watercolor, but also like spray paint. I mean, not spray paint, airbrush. The women she paints are they just look like you could feel them. Like they're soft, like they're supple, and like there's so much expression in the face. The outfits that she imagines are gorgeous. Like she should have been a fashion designer too. Like everything. I like I want to wear all the outfits. I wish she could draw me, like she also one of her muses was Dita
Okay.
Von Teese, who's like she's a burlesque
Yes.
enthusiast, I guess you would call her. And yeah, just you can see she painted her gorgeous painting like everything, and she drew women of all colors. She was drawing white women, Asian women, black women. Um, and she's just beautiful. Everything she makes is just gorgeous. Like I feel like that's the level I want to be at. That's the kind, and she did it huge too. She drew small ones and huge ones that would cover a whole wall, and I'm like, girl, how do I get like you? Like I literally wish I could meet her. Like she's
That's
so
awesome.
amazing.
So the next segment is called Two on an Easel. And you sent these pictures previously, so let me pull them up. I will put them up front. Um, but what is a picture? What is a pic? What is your favorite picture you've done, and what is the last picture you've done?
Yeah, so my favorite one was the name is
Okay.
Cassandra. And I named it that because it's like a painting of mine where it's basically like my interpretation of
Okay.
weed. At the time, like I was smoking a lot more, and I don't know, I felt like it was helping me to just like let loose, and I was drawing a lot more and thinking outside of the box more. And again, like I can be a very anxious overthinker, and it would help me not do that. And I guess at that moment I was inspired by weed. So I drew it in like a female form and like kind of depicting how it just helps me to like open up and have my thoughts just fly around more freely without judgmental voices or worrying about this and that. Like I was just free
Mhm.
creating whatever. um that I made in like 2021, so I was
Awesome.
21, so it makes sense. But now I can just naturally be more free with my thoughts. But yeah, at the time I was definitely just like enjoying myself and wanting to just depict, I guess, the vibe I was in
Okay.
at that time. But I love the drawing because I did it in one shot. Like usually, like I said, I need a bunch of papers and I need to, I start drawing and then I don't like it. But with that one, I just sat down and I barely even made like a skeleton for the girl and all that. Like I went straight into the drawing and everything came out perfect. Like the toes, the booty, the shading, the even I drew like this weird like vine kind of design on her skin. I don't know where that came from. That was just random that I made up. The way I drew the weed and everything that she's in, like I was just really proud of it when I made it. I was like, and I drew that and like I want to say like 2 hours or something. Like I drew it and painted it in 2 hours while I was at the tattoo shop, like chilling. And I was just really impressed with myself after that. Like I had to give myself a little pat on the back. I was like, wow, Tyra, like this is really cute, and like you really did that real fast. And yeah, it was like a drawing for me that made me really proud and made me like see myself as like, damn, like you are good. Like you really just did that in 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm always
All
loved
right.
that
And
one.
what's your latest piece?
My latest one that um oh the one I sent you, I think that one was called Yearning. Wait, damn, I kind of forgot. What did I
It
send
said
you?
untitledwork.jpg.
Oh no. Hold on, let me just go back to see the image. Oh yeah, so the most recent one I sent was the album cover that I did for the rapper Veda. And that was really special to me because that was my first time making something like that for a music artist. And well, I've made stuff for music artists in the past, but they never really came to fruition the way this one did. Like it came out, and she's a pretty well known artist. So, she's on Spotify, she's on Apple. So, this piece of art is on Spotify and on Apple, and I'm on Spotify all day, every day. And to be able to see my work on that and to be able to play her music that I already love and then see my art next to it, like, I was really proud and I was really like, this is like my turning point for me where I'm like really changing things up and using my art in different ways and trying to build my clientele in a different way where I'm like doing these kind of different things. And even the process for making this, like I'm not a portrait artist. I don't normally make things that look like a specific person. Like I'm always making up the people I draw. So it was a little nerve wracking for it to have to look like her and not just one version of her, but little like different versions of her. So there was kind of a lot of anxiety with this project because I'm like, damn, like I hope it look like her. I hope she likes it. I modeled it after those 1970s like movie posters where it's like a big collage of scenes and people and hands and cars and all that. And because the title of it is "Don't Lose the Groove." So like as soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
70s, duh. And like I really was like planning this drawing more than I have a lot of other ones because obviously it's for somebody, but also like I just really wanted to make it more complex than other ones I've made, and I feel like I accomplished it pretty well, and I was really proud of, especially like the car, and because that's not something I'm always drawing, and I just pushed myself to like do something a little different, and it ended up working out, and I was really happy with um, how it came out and just the fact that like I did that and now I can see it on my phone and on other platforms and when people are listening to the music they are looking at my art whether they know it or not and
That's
that makes me
awesome.
happy.
So, where can we find you and support your work?
So my Instagram is at jug.nyc. That's where you can definitely, through the link in my bio, see like my portfolio and all the work I've done. In terms of actual support, I am coming out with a coloring book soon. It's my second one. I have one already that I've made that's on Amazon. It's called Pleasures. So go check that out. And it's that was my first one that I put out in like 2024, and now I'm releasing the second one. I actually just ordered the prints to be printed, so
That's
those will be made
exciting.
soon. And yes, and the first book I was also alongside being on Amazon. I was selling at this store in New York called Lambs, Laams, and it's like a really awesome eclectic store that has books and clothes and art by local New York artists. And so I was selling it there, so I'm going to be selling the second one there as well. So, and I definitely recommend stopping by that store. They have amazing things for artists to get inspired by. And yeah, I'm also creating an Etsy shop where I'll be selling that with, other little things I think of, probably stickers and like a t-shirt and stuff like that. This is like me trying to actually like just really professionalize everything and solidify like the brand with a store and all of that. And I'm excited, and hopefully that should be done definitely by the start of, I mean, before the
Okay.
start of next year. So hopefully everyone can check that out. But yeah, in the meantime, be on the lookout for my coloring book. And
That's
yeah.
awesome. Thank you, Miss Tyra. I enjoyed talking with you this whole time.
Thank you, Derek. You're
Uh,
amazing as well. And I'm so happy that you decided to have me here today.
I
This was
had to. You're
amazing.
amazing. Yes. So have a great day and stay awesome. And don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. I always say that, but um,
Yes, subscribe and like. Derek is also an amazing artist. I
awesome.
checked your work out on your website. So awesome,
Thank you.
so beautiful. So y'all need to check
Thank
that
you.
out as well.
Thank you. You have a good day, Miss Tyra, and I
Yes.
will talk to you soon. I can't wait for those coloring books.
Yes, I actually send me
Okay.
your info and I'll send you one. All right. It was so
Good
great
talking
talking
to
to
you
you,
too.
Derek. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.